Dr. Nweke is someone I know very well, right from when I contested the governorship position in 2007. He is, I believe, currently the director of policy for the PDP. You would expect him to say exactly what he is saying. These are people vast in propaganda. These are people you never find a single truth in their mouth.
Is that what he said? None of them is true about you?
What he said about me being the Director General of Nkechi Nwogo's campaign is not true. The Director General of Nkechi Nwogo's campaign was Chief Tony Enwerozo. But I was supporting Senator Nkechi Nwogo because I believe that it was high time we have a woman in governance in Abia State and see if we could change the level of corruption we have had in Abia State all this while. Of course, what happened in Abia State, the PDP, as I said earlier, dissolved the party structures, the party apparatus from the ward to the state level. And the governor and his son single-handedly appointed this stooge, somebody who was, until he was suggested as the governorship candidate of PDP, the deputy manager of Abia State's Environmental Protection Agency, would not put the two together. You just cannot, you can't compare the two.
You know, don't you think APGA, maybe from the national level, actually caused this for themselves, looking at the national elections where APGA had a policy you would call adoption of maybe the president and some other key persons for that particular election. And this is a ripple effect of that particular adoption of President Goodluck Jonathan, to the extent that everyone thought that PDP is APGA, and maybe APGA is also PDP.
Oh, far from it, not at all. Take, for example, what happened in the National Assembly elections. It was very clear. People came out and voted for Jonathan. People came out and voted for the senatorial candidates, including me. I defeated the governor even in his own polling booth. He had 33 votes. APC had 11 votes. I polled 98 votes. In his polling booth where he voted, his wife and children voted. It was the same all over the place in Abia State. In Abia South, for example, you had a ludicrous situation where, remember at the elections, you were given 3 forms, one for the president, one for the Senate, one for the Federal House. For the president, 40-something thousand people voted. For the Federal House, 40-something thousand voted. Suddenly, for the senatorial election, 68,000 people voted. Where did you get nearly 30,000 people coming from? This is the rigging process that PDP had adopted in Abia State. Until about a week to the elections, actually, when it became very obvious that the card readers were going to be used, T.L.G., my opponent in the election, did not campaign. He did not go to any campaigns at all.
That's for the senatorial...
For the senatorial seat, because he believed it was going to be business as usual. He was good. What he used to say then was, I'll get them to announce the result for me, go to the tribunal.
Wow.
And that's exactly what they are doing.
That's a very serious one. But do we still have the PDP, Dr. Nweke on the line? We need to get his response on this one.
Yes,
are you still there?
I'm on the line. I'm just listening to the
all right, let's get you to respond to what he just said about...
specifically.
Go ahead, please.
Chamberlain, let me reply to him. This man called T.L.G. went round the local governments of this state campaigning, including Abia Central Senatorial District. You know, what baffles me about the Igbos of this state, people like Ahamdi Nweke, is where they spike their faces on staying on national television to lie. And he tells me that I'm lying. At my age, I don't think that this man who used to be close to me within the rank and file of the party can now say that I'm a liar. I am not speaking on behalf of the governor. I am speaking to you this morning as an elder statesman. I'm much older than Ahamdi Nweke, and I stand on the basis of truth to say that he is talking a lot of the trash. I repeat, the APGA decided to adopt the president of the chairman or whatever, the presidential candidate of the PDP. And Ahamdi Nweke does not know the genesis of the formation of the APGA. I give him. there is somebody called Oswald who comes from the same local government with me and who used to be governor of the state. And the man who registered APGA, he knows. They all left PDP to go register that. When Oswald believed that if there was problem between him and the PDP hierarchy, they will have an alternative. So up till now, from the time the former governor was here to today, APGA has never decided to have a presidential candidate.
Dr. Koro, could you?
It's time to talk about gubernatorial candidate.
Let's get your response on the other part of it. There's an allegation against your party rigging the elections. Is that true?
No, that one again, again, that is balderdash. Let me explain. You see, the use of the tarida is an innovation. You cannot bypass a technologically feasible equipment to rig election. It's not easy for you to rig this election when once the tarida authenticates a voter. 2, at the level of polling at the booth, and polling booth is a nuclear code on winning or losing. When once you are authenticated, within that time frame, you can never read this election because every person who has authenticated is given a number. And then at the end of that authentication, they will flash it to the cloud, and it will be announced that 300 people have been authenticated in this polling booth. How would you read it?
Okay, just hold on, Dr. Koro, at that point. Let me get him to respond then to see.
And the results of the parties are there, and when the results are, when the ballot papers have been sorted out, the INEC will announce the results. How would you be reading it in full view of opponents, very opponents, and a polling booth?
Okay, let's get him to shed some light on that then. Just hold on a minute, Dr. Koro.
If I wasn't involved in the elections and saw these things happen in real life, I may still be speaking as naively as he is speaking, although he knows the truth. What happened in most of the places where they took away the ballot boxes, they waited till accreditation was ended. They knew the number of people accredited at the polling booths. Then their thugs swept in, carried the result sheets, went off, wrote the result elsewhere, and submitted.
How did they
what other reason would they have? There are processes involved in this, and let's get this clear. At the election, the materials are delivered at the polling booths. After voting and counting, they were supposed to be taken to the ward collation centers, where all the results of that ward will be collected. Then the results from the ward collection centers and the results from the booth taken to the local government, where the local government results will be collected from all the wards involved in the process. What happened in Abia State, in Abia Central in particular, where I was involved, is that immediately the accreditation ended. Let's say, for example, in my booth, where I polled 202 of the 205 accredited voters. What would then happen is that they would come in just before the writing of the results with their thugs, armed thugs, take the result sheets, run away, go to the house of a PDP stakeholder, write the results. That is how our agents at the booth did not have the opportunity to go to the ward collation centers to present their results. The people at the collection centers, our agents there, did not see any of the returns at all. Now the results went straight to the local government. At the local government, who submitted? Very good. Being submitted by, that is why I have a very serious suspicion that this level of fraud could not be possible without some level of complicity by INEC staff.
Okay, can we bring Dr. Koro in here?
Yes.
Dr. Koro?
Yes, sure.
He just explained how that happened. In Abia Central particularly, where he said he was involved.
And just to add, before he comes in, this is on record.
Okay.
At the police station in Omar here, which is part of my constituency, security officials from government house were chasing youth corpers to take the result sheets from them. They ran into the state CID
Okay,
let's see ID. This is on record. It was incidented.
Just hang on.
These people were arrested at the state CID.
Okay, just hang on. Let's get Dr. Koro to respond to that. Go ahead, please.
Stop the man. Now you can stop him, so I can talk to him directly.
Respond to the issues, please.
If you make an allegation of any wrongdoing at the polling booth, it is your agent that will initially lodge that complaint. And I'm saying that there is no way in the midst of the opposition and the agents of all the political parties to can begin to rig election that we started first with authentication. And when that carrier says voter authenticated, they give you a number. Now, whether you bring General Buhari to come and man that polling booth, you will not change the course of the event of the person who has already made up his or her mind about to vote. I'm also repeating, for emphasis, there is no possibility of rigging an election because the results at the polling booth are appearing right at the polling booth before going to the polling booth coalition center of the ward.
All right, Dr. Koro.
To the coalition center of all.
Okay, I'm afraid that's where we have to let it go today for want of time, really. But we have to thank both of you for coming on. It's clear that INEC needs to pay special attention, security officials as well, to pay a lot of attention to what's going on in Abia State, such that the whole world can see what will happen this weekend. All right, to thank you for coming on. Ahamdi
Thank you very much indeed.
Spokesperson for the All Progressive Grand Alliance in Abia State, and also a senatorial candidate. He was a candidate. And then we also had Dr. Emma Okoro, Director of Policy for Abia State's PDP. We'll be back after the break. Join us again.
Thank you.